Welcome to the Bam Bibliophile. My name's Bailey, and I've been consuming a lot of novels and verse recently. Let's talk about a few of them. A tender love story involving queerness and cryptids was not on my 2024 bingo card, but I found one anyway. Dear Mothman follows Noah, who recently lost his best friend, a fellow trans boy, in a car accident. 6th grade now seems impossible to navigate, but maybe writing letters to Mothman can help Noah sort through his emotions. This novel feels heavy with an indescribable earnestness and sincerity. Every page weighed on my soul as if I was glimpsing something intimate, and I hung onto every word, letting them sink into my brain and heart in equal measure. There's no way to possibly detail to you the seemingly candid or genuine nature of the narrative. All I can say is that it left an impression, a welcome stain on my consciousness. So many thought-provoking ideas are presented, one of which is the connection between cryptids and queerness. Cryptids are occasionally viewed as monstrous, an adjective that's sometimes thrown at the queer community because being different unjustifiably stamps you as a freak or something intolerable. Cryptids are also regarded as imaginary, a notion akin to how not everyone believes in the legitimacy of being queer. You can be disregarded as inauthentic when strangers and friends alike declare your choices in essence aren't real to their limited perceptions and narrow understanding of the world. These lived experiences can make for a lonesome existence, comparable to that of scarce cryptids living seemingly alone in the wild. Dear Mothman also explores the concept of limited visibility. Imagery of cryptids have pretty much exclusively been captured in low-quality mediums. A snapshot of Bigfoot on film or Mothman on camera merely yield a blur of who they are. Being queer but not feeling safe or comfortable to show the world who you truly are means you might only be able to also show an obscured fraction of who you are too. An impression of your core is caught in rare or precisely chosen moments where your authenticity is gleamed in flashes, but not in its entire glory. Does that make you any less real? The answer is no. But maybe you deserve to be adored in your true form. But cryptids and queerness share more than these traits. In fact, they are both something to celebrate because the two are magical at their very core. They're extraordinary and marvelous. The world is full of mystery and beautiful, wonderful things. You deserve to feel seen and part of this shared experience we all find ourselves in. You deserve to feel at home. And home is where my heart was when I read Dear Mothman. They say not to judge a book by its cover. And in this moment, I'm asking you to do just that. Now, I don't want to jump scare you. So are you ready? Are you sure? Here goes nothing. Ah! Okay, hear me out, all right? Samson Domingo is a short novel in verse that's the perfect palate cleanser capable of packing a punch. It's a win-win for people everywhere trying to tackle their reading goal while satisfying their sappy heart. The book draws inspiration from a biblical story, Samson and Delilah, a tale of betrayal, strength, and secrets. But the tragedy of Samson and Delilah is replaced by a beautiful love story that redeems what the original couple failed to cultivate: trust, warmth, and an open heart toward one another. Our main characters come from rival schools, with Samson being a star football player and Domingo a French horn player in the marching band. Will their love bridge the two worlds they come from, or will it break them? This novel was beautiful in its simplicity, and the messages were evocative. I still remember the confession that Domingo loved Samson, the strongest man alive, not for the pillar of strength he was, but for his fragility.
Hey, where's the powder on the floor? Someone had to come knock me out, okay? I don't know if I've ever read anything so poetic.
Cue sudden outfit change because the audio never saved on the rest of the footage and I gotta redo it again. I also loved the discussion that it's always a gamble when you enter into a relationship because there's this strong possibility that your partner may hurt you. Therefore, it's much easier to keep your heart hidden so that someone else's hands can't shatter it. Domingo's response was perfect in that you need to find someone whose odds seem better at carefully handling your heart than fracturing it.
Oh, this is gonna make me so cute.
If you're interested in an Achillean sports romance that's quick to read and will occasionally pull at your heart with beautiful lines that jump out at you, then please look beyond this cover and pick up Samson and Domingo. We all thought that vampires were dying out in YA literature thanks to the Twilight post-saturation era, but this sect of the undead continues to make waves. The Art of Being a Vampire is one such entry into contemporary fantasy that proves vampires still capture people's imaginations. What threw me for a loop, though, is that typical vampire lore isn't adhered to. Instead, vampirism is used as a metaphor for addiction. Shelby feels trapped. Her only solace is her camera and the art she creates with it. Abandoned by family and suffocating under a sense of darkness after her mother overdoses, Shelby finds herself in a bleak place, which draws her to Brant, a vampire keen on turning her. After being bitten, our main character wages an internal battle as she decides whether to give in to her hunger, a hunger her family has struggled with in other forms, or fight for the life she's dreamed about. The art of being a vampire is a study in human connection and the breaking of cycles that try to wear us down and limit our potential. It's also about art and the power it brings to shaping and understanding our lives. A worthwhile transformation transpires that makes you feel like you can breathe again after you make it through a story with so much darkness and despair. At first, Shelby uses her camera strictly as a means to look at life through its lens, acting as a buffer between her and the world. She tirelessly tries to take pictures of beauty because her life is devoid of it, creating a division she doesn't think she's capable of bridging. When her world turns from bleak to downright grotesque, she can't even muster the will to find those prior beautiful moments, during which you see darkness seeping into her environment, bleeding into her life. By the end, her pivotal life choices help her realize that her camera lens, instead of being a wall, can be a bridge to people. Art is an exchange of essence between the creator and you. And Shelby begins to desire this exchange in the hope that people can find a light in their darkest nights. Shelby finds healing and purpose in art, which can shed light on the good and the bad. While dark at times, The Art of Being a Vampire is an ultimately hopeful read that examines the age-old questions: are we more than our life circumstances? Can we forge our own paths, or are we doomed to fall into the same traps as our predecessors? It tries to reach your heart, and in doing so, gives part of itself away. If you have any recommendations for novels in verse, make sure to drop a comment down below so that I can add it to my TBR. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.